There are many interesting and bizarre rituals in which people belonging to different cultures disposed of their loved ones to God after they have ceased to live. Some bury their loved ones while others burn them. But there are some never heard of the most bizarre funeral traditions in the world that you are going to be shocked after knowing. Although many of these weird traditions are no longer practiced, a few of them are still taken very seriously in many third world countries. The following are the lists of the 7 bizarre funeral traditions from around the world. Number 1. Famadi Hana. Famadi Hana is a funerary tradition of the Malagasy people in Madagascar. Known as the turning of the bones, people bring forth the bodies of their ancestors from the family crypts and rewrap them in fresh cloth, then dance with the corpses around a tomb to live music. This is a way for the Malagasy people to remember their dead relatives and loved ones from time to time. These people dig out the remains of their dead one's body at regular intervals and wrap them in fresh clothes. They bury them again after carrying them around their villages. Number 2. Viking Funeral. So we always thought that the dead won't have erections anymore? It seems that the Viking community believed that even the dead chieftain would need a sexual partner to satisfy him in the afterlife. The Norse funeral for local leaders featured sexual rites, wherein a slave girl would have sex with every man in the village, and as the men were having sex with her they would say, "Tell your master that I did this because of my love for him." Following this, the girl would be taken to a tent where she would have sex with 6 Viking men before she would be strangled to death with a rope, and then stabbed by the matriarch of the village. Her dead body would then join the chieftain on the burning ship so as to satisfy him in the afterlife. Women seem to have a tougher end in most of these funeral traditions. Number 3. Cremation. Still practiced in the modern world, the ritual involves setting a proper platform of wood and then setting the dead ones on fire. The cremated body is then filled in a jar to be kept close by the dear ones of the deceased. Some of the dead ones, in their own lives, leave wills as to how they would like their ashes to be disposed of. Some even wish for themselves to be released in space. Some living in India wish for them to be flown into the river Ganges or any other ocean, and some wish for them to be kept close by their relatives. Number 4. Asia's hanging coffins. Among certain ethnic groups in the Philippines, Indonesia, and China, the tradition of hanging coffins has long been practiced. In Gongxian in southern Sichuan, hundreds of hanging coffins of China's Bo people, who are thought to have died out approximately 400 years ago, can be found suspended from rock faces, while in the Philippine mountain town of Sagada, the Igorot people still practice the tradition today. Many hanging coffins dot the cliff faces of the Echo Valley. The ritual is said to protect the dead from flooding and animals, and in Igorot culture is thought to grant the dead an easier passage to the afterlife. Number 5. Endo-cannibalism, eating the dead. One of the most bizarre funeral traditions in Papua New Guinea and Brazil is when the community feasts upon the deceased's body. Now rarely practiced, this inhuman practice probably arose from malnourished nations who sought other methods to feed themselves. Cannibalism thus left any need for disposing of any body. The deceased one's family used to gather around the dead body and used fire and other basic tools to make it edible. It is also known to be practiced in nations that primarily survived in the jungles with not much to eat except herbs and plants. The Yanomami people also practice this. Number 6. Sky burial. One of the most bizarre funeral traditions still in practice. Sky burial or ritual dissection is a funerary practice in the Chinese provinces of Tibet, Qinghai, and Inner Mongolia. A human corpse is cut into small pieces and placed on a mountaintop, exposing it to the elements, Mahabhuta, and animals, especially predatory birds. The function of the sky burial is simply to dispose of the remains as generous a way as possible. The majority of Tibetans and many Mongolians adhere to Vajrayana Buddhism, which teaches the transmigration of spirits. They believe that there is no need to preserve the body, as it is now an empty vessel. Birds may eat it or nature may cause it to decompose. It is seen as a last token of charity to the earth. It is an age-old ritual practiced for thousands of years, and according to Pasang Wangdu of the Tibet Academy of Social Sciences, around 80% of Tibetans today opt for a sky burial. Number 7. Sithi. Sithi is a very old tradition from the religion of Hinduism. It is rarely practiced nowadays. Sithi was a sort of punishment given to a woman whose husband has died, i.e. it primarily involved widows. Not only Hindus but some other cultures are also known to practice this tradition. The widow was forced to burn herself as a way to sacrifice herself to the mighty powers in respect of her husband's death. The main reason for this ritual practice could be that an alone woman has no place in this world after her husband's death and she must sacrifice herself willingly before the gods. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.